Hi everyone, thought I would do my first video for a very long time. Since the last one I went on holiday for a fortnight and then I came back like almost exactly a month today, so I thought I'd have this long break, and to be honest I've hardly played any chess since, so I'm just going to catch up on a few games, but there's only like 6 games, although I've got quite a lot coming up with my first Congress in Manchester this weekend at Scarborough, well next weekend. So anyway, let's start. Yeah, my first game since Manchester was played on the 28th of September 2013. I got back on holiday a week earlier, and this season I'm playing in the Yorkshire League, which is a league from clubs in Yorkshire, funnily enough, and it's really good. There's all these like good match reports you get afterwards, and like I really enjoy playing for them. And I'm playing for Calderdale B in the 2nd division, also known as the Silver Rook, I think it's called that. Or is it Iron Brown? I think Iron Brown's 3rd division. But anyway, yeah, the Woodhouse is 1st division. Yes, it's Silver Rook. And my first game was against Bradford B. A bit of context: Calderdale B were promoted from the 3rd division last year, and Bradford B were relegated from the top division. So this is sort of like 2 championship clubs playing each other, when the other one had been in Premiership and the other one had been in League One previous season. So of course expecting to be heavily upgraded, but they had a few players missing, and also it clashed with one of their 18 games, which were actually playing Ra8. I'm looking at the lineup, so it was actually about equal it was, and they were a bit stronger at the top and we was a bit stronger at the bottom. But I had quite a good player on board 6 against me. I had White versus George Bak, who his 2 sons, Andrew is at 170, and his other one, Chris, is actually only 132, but his YCA is a lot higher than he's a lot stronger than that, about 160 at least. And as for the dad, well, ungraded, but his last grade was 160 in 2008. But of course, I'm sure there's plenty of Russ. And I opened with 1e4. Time control for this league is an hour and 3 quarters for 42 moves, with additional 15 minutes added to the clock after move 42. Now let's go. And I expected some aggressive line, because I know the sons are both quite aggressive players, but I got very solid Qa6 instead. And I kept faith with 92, which is the Nigel shot variation, where as a point which you actually see in this video, because after d5, e5 in the other 2 games I've had with this line, you've seen bishop g4 against Ian McKay, and c5, which is the best move against what else did I play? Ba3 Qd7. But my opponent played a mistake, bishop f5. So I moved the knight across, bishop went back to g6, and then h4. Threatening to chop the bishop with h5, so h6, h5, bishop h7. And my opponent probably thought this was a normal standard Qa6 position this was going to be. I was just going to play something like d4, and then it might play c5 with like a standard advanced position or something. But nope, here comes the shocking move. I played e6. So the point is that I'm threatening to take an f7 with check, and if he leaves the pawn with something like f6, then his pawn's going to be a nightmare, and I play something like queen g4 is quite tempting actually, just to defend the pawn. And if his bishop ever goes, say bishop d3, then queen's g6 would actually be checkmate. So this is very dangerous. So he has to take, and I played d4. And the point is I'm just going to try and keep his f8 bishop trapped for the rest of the game, so he's basically playing my pawn now, but he's actually a piece behind. And plus then his rook can't get out, so he's like a rook and a piece behind. And after knight d7, if it was black's turn again in this position, I'm sure that he would play, if I'm not careful, I'll play something else like c3. He plays e5, and now black's better all of a sudden, because he's going to get rid of his double pawn, and I've got nothing much to show for my pawn. So I played the key move f4, just to stop him ever playing e5, because I've got 2 pawns in it. He can never play it now without sacrificing the pawn, and then I regain the pawn with advantage. So this is a very difficult position for black to play this. is going to have pieces stuck out of the game. And if you are playing black in this position, I recommend you do not play bishop f5. But if you do get this far, you put the bishop. You can actually play this move. You're annoying arrows. This move is actually playable if you do get this far. But of course, I don't like it. It's d4, and ask yourself what this bishop is doing. But, yeah. And you can try h5 in this position, but you still play e6 anyway. And in fact, this is actually even worse variation because now this h5 pawn is very weak in some lines. e6, h5, bishop a7, e6, fe6, d4, knight d7, f4, key move. Queen c7 was played by bishop d3. So my point is, I'm trying to. Black wants to castle the queen side because he knows he's accepted he's not going to get his kingside pieces in game quick enough. And in the meantime, I've just got a simple plan of play: knight d2. Well, what point is I want to develop my bishop first. I want to castle short, which looks a bit surprising given how many pawn moves I've made, but we can't attack. And that means now my f pawn's protected, and then I want to play knight d2, knight f3, knight e5. Just clamp on the e5 square and just completely slowly crush black. If it goes long, then I can start going a4, b4, and he can't attack me. The engine says it's equal, but I think this is a really nice position. Now the main move of this position is to play bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, and then you can actually allow the check on g6 because the king's not too safe. The king's not too dangerous for king in this bottom up position, but castle's queenside normal. I castle short. Knight comes out, and then something like knight d2, and then come into f3 into e5. And it's just very nice. Like if my knight comes into e5 and he takes, then my pawn permanently blocks his e6 pawn and e7 pawn, so he's playing a piece down again. And if he ever tries anything like c5, then he's opening his king up, and then just play something like c3. But knight gf6 was played, so I took, and you can either take the knight or the rook. I guess he didn't take the knight because he was worried about queen g4, which is quite annoying. But I think he just gives the pawn back. Queen takes e6, and then queen d6 to try and get the queens off the cost of double pawns. And I think white should probably just take it and accept a small advantage. Castle. This is a slightly better for whiteness. After rook takes h7, I do not like this move at all because now his rook's out of play even more. It's on a very bad square, and it can also be a tactical liability if the knight and d6, f6 ever moves and stuff like queen d3 with vital tempo gains. I play queen e2 in the end, which is maybe a slight inaccuracy because it leaves d4 a bit weaker. But of course it pressures the e6 pawn, which is quite hard to defend in a good way. But I think I should just have castled. It's weird in this position how bad my development looks, but I've got a lot more space and black can't do anything. Now if he castles long, then maybe I can start attacking. Maybe interesting point is actually to play a4, and then like rook a3, rook b3 could be interesting. But I was hoping that he would play king f7 in this position, but I actually thought king f7 looked okay for him at the time. But I can't find a punishment to that. I thought it was quite a good move. Maybe I just castle, and then like when a knight comes into e5 with check, maybe that's why. But he'd protect with queen b6. I castled short, and he castled long. And now I thought if I play a rook e1, he can't stop me, he can't protect his e6 pawn, and I win a pawn back, but what do I get out of the position? Benefit. So I decided I won't be materialistic. I'll play like against the king, just go for the king. I play c3 after a long thought, just to get ready for c5. I really want to play b4 in this position, just to take c5 out of the equation as well, because I thought that was quite an annoying move. But after c3, the critical test, of course, in this position is c5. Just come up with another move I was worried about, which I'll come on to shortly. Now in this position, I was thinking of playing bishop e3. And then trying to put the bishop back on b2 or f2 or something where it points menacingly at c5, and then might take next move. Or maybe even play b4 or something and start sacking pawns. But the move I was actually worried about g5. I thought you can actually get away with this, just sacrifice the pawn and then rook e7. Because I realised I actually can't protect the pawn. And it might start getting. Well, I can play queen d3, but think you start getting a bit of pressure towards my king now with something like knight g4. I was getting a bit worried actually. But I thought I could play knight h5 and kick his rook back and then try and get his pawn through is another plan. But of course, while the thing is I've still got pieces in the box, like he's playing a piece down, but I'm currently playing about 3 pieces behind, so we might as well try and justify his rook's position with that move. Yeah, you can also play g6 as well, of course. But we played this move, I thought that's just a really bad move because the knight's going to be a victim of a4, a5, which I want to play, and I can start the knight coming to c4 and develop a piece with knight d2. And I put this knight back on d7. I'm spending a lot of time as well. And it's playing that plan, and now I start to get a big advantage. I play b4, but I think that's inaccurate. I'm still worried about c5, but I think I should play a4 while his knight's on b6. If he plays a5 to block, then he's opening his king up, and I can think about sacking the pawn in b4 in the future. In fact, b4 now is very dangerous. Takes a5. Knight goes back to a8, we play a6. And he has to try and keep line shut with b6, but I've got a very dangerous pass pawn that's maybe one score away from queen if I play a7. If I play a7 as well, I've got queen f6 check. In fact, I can play queen d3, which gains a tempo on the rook. Say knight f6 out of rook h8, it's probably most logical. Then like a7, queen a6, nasty's in the future, and if king b7 is given, because it doesn't actually do much currently, or I should play it anyway. And then maybe just something like knight back to e2 and jumping the knight round in the attack, and this is just a great position for white even though it's 2 pawns behind. I play b4 just to stop c5. Now he puts knight back in f6, so he's still got not going to counterplay. Now I play a4. And now I thought I'm just going to slowly crush him on the queen side. There's nothing he can do. But he starts defending very good. I still think g5 needs to be tried. Because at the end of the day, my king side is a bit better. Plus with g5 as well, his bishop maybe can enter the game at some point via g7. Although it doesn't do much in that square. But his knight back in a8, it's a bit of prophylaxis. I played bishop a3, another strong move, but nice easy move. Because I want to start playing b5 for tempo. So he gets his queen out of the way. But of course now his queen's a victim for knight coming into e5. So of course I should have played knight f3 in this position. So I've got 2 pawns in this position. One is to try and attack his king, but another one is just to swap all the minor pieces off and leave one of my knights in his f8 bishop. Then just do the knight on e5 and completely strangle him. So now I'm threatening to come with tempo. Let's say he plays knight c7 to bring his knight round. Knight e5, queen e8, and now b5. Attacking the pawn, takes, knight takes, and I've got bishop into c5, threatening to take an a7, with a6, then c4, he has to take, and then we just take with the queen, threatening to be the bishop over with discoveries, and then taking e6, and white is practically winning this position. Very difficult for black to defend his king. There's going to be all sorts of sacrificial attacks like rook takes a6 coming up, and white is regaining one of his pawns. I play knight b3 instead, which is inaccurate. You can easily start coming into c5. Knight 5 to b6, which he played. I thought that gives me an target for attack, but in this position I spent ages weighing up the pros and cons of a5 and b5. And I decided on the wrong one. Well, in fact, neither of them are actually good. Again, I need to aim for the e5 square. So the best move is to play the move knight c1, which is quite difficult to see, of course, especially for a weak player like me. And then there's nothing to do to stop my knight coming all the way around into e5, and now as well it takes advantage of b6 as well being a weakness, because now c6 is weaker and the plan with b5 becomes more tempting, which also opens up my bishop. And I say it gets out of the range of my play knight d3, and what can he do? He hasn't got any moves. Knight c7, I say he's completely squashed. Knight c5, so king b7 to protect it, and then we've got this key move again, c4, which I never even thought about in the game. I never even thought about playing c4. Takes, queen takes, again with pressure on e6 and c6. So knight comes into d5. Doing a nice little move, rook f2, preparing to maybe double or something. Rooks in the future. And maybe rook c2 to put pressure on. c6 was very good for white. Now I thought b5 after the game was a good move, so it opens my bishop up and tries to take advantage of c6, but Ace 40 plays knight c7 after takes, queen takes. Front knight of 8, I've even got weakness on c3 now. Say a5 to continue hacking. I think I might be able to get away with taking this, and then rook f3, queen c4, and then I've got to reject the queen swap. And maybe this is a bit dangerous for black, this, because now his queen's open up lines towards my king. So maybe after a5 he should play something like queen c4 to attack my queen and my knight. So I've got to play stuff like queen c2 I have, to keep the queens on board because I'm attacking. And then this should be good for white. To b6 I played a5, and that's a very poor move, that. Because it gives up the b5 square as well, because now we played knight c7 made me feel a bit stupid. Now I realise it's going to be quite difficult now. So I thought I'll do an e-prom, I'll try and make him on the a file. And I'll move my bishop back. But again, I spent ages spending. I wasn't sure to put it on b2 or c1, so if I ever put it on c1 I can bring my queen across to a2 quicker. But it's actually easy to defend, just plays king b7. After queen a2, play rook a8, and black's actually better. So I played bishop b2 to try and get 2 rooks on the file. But now he defends well again, he plays king b7, rook a2, rook a8, I take, knight takes, no, rook's a1, knight c7. And I played bishop c1, trying to get my queen in. Queen came back to c8, so now he's repelled my cunning plan. And to be honest, I've not really achieved much in this position. His king side's all covered. And I decided I actually thought now I need to get the knight to e5. Like, in fact, I offered a draw around this point as well, which I rejected because I'm still better. I played knight d2. I finally brought his rook into the game because he's been on h7 for nearly all the game. Because now, of course, he realised that he can't stop the knight e5 plan, but I'm not going to mate him anytime soon. As long as his knight's in c7, knight f3. Now knight d7 to cover the square. Now again, the c4 plan seems strong in this position, but I decided now actually to let his bishop out to try and get an attack. I played f5. It was a bit controversial. After e takes f5, I didn't just take it back. I played a strong move, bishop f4. So now I'm threatening bishop takes c7 and queen a6 with advantage. If he plays b5 to stop my queen ever coming in, then I think I can always use the failure to taking c7 because that knight's annoying. Queen takes c7, and then I'm taking f5. He still can't move his e-pawn or anything. And I've always got maybe queen a2 ideas, and I'm also threatening to take an e7. So he played the move which I expected. It's a very good move, but cost him most of his remaining time and clock. He played e5. And now we have less than 5 minutes to make another 12 moves at time control. Or 11 moves, I think. I still have about 10 minutes. But of course it's getting towards time scramble mode. So e5 was played, so the point is he's giving the pawn back. He's opening his bishop up finally. It's a very good move. After d takes c5, which is perhaps not the strongest, he can blockade my passed pawn with knight e6. And queen a6 now it doesn't do much because of the flight square for his king. So maybe I thought his knight takes e5 better. After knight takes c5, queen takes e5. And I'm going to win his f5 pawn with a better position. I've aced up with the d pawn after knight e6. I should have just retreated my bishop in this position. Now his f pawn's hanging, and he actually can't defend his f pawn except with f4. I either play knight into f5, queen into d6 with check. Force him to give his now good bishop up, which is nasty. But I played queen a6 check. And I was ready for him next mate. I thought he's blundered, he's got no time, he's going to play king b8, queen a7, mate, what can you do? Oh, he's not just cleared the e6, the c7's worth for his king. Whoops. So now I spent a lot of time now, and I was now down to less than 5 minutes to make several moves still. In a really complicated position like this. Realize what do I do if I've blown it? If I move my queen back, my bishop's hanging. What do I do? Actually, it turns out queen d3 is possible. Because knight takes f4 is answered by queen takes f5. And now there is his knight is actually trapped, I think. Yeah, his knight's trapped. So I regained the piece. But let's see that. I played Queen A7 check. Now he played Queen B7, and I played the strong move Bishop D2. I'd worked out that after regaining my composure that you can play, if he plays Queen takes A7, I play Rook takes A7 check. And he can't play King B8 because Rook takes D7, and if he plays King C8 then I've got a Rook on the 7th, so I can just take an F5 with a strong position, for example. Actually this is stronger. Yeah, because when he takes this, I just take with a pawn. A strong centre, a Rook on the 7th, and his F5 pawn's hanging. And it's actually crushing this position. Doesn't look here, but it's crushing. But he played F4. Now I played the strong move Knight E2. Because Knight F5 looks pretty, but the Knight's not actually doing anything. And I'm still a pawn behind. I played Knight E2 to regain the pawn, because that pawn's in my way. I'm still taking an A5 pawn. He finally developed his bishop. I took it. It took me. Bishop takes F4. And then my opponent actually was, despite his time trouble, actually played the only move to stay in the game. He played Rook F8 because it stops E6 check. Oh, actually no, it's still lost. It's lost now actually. So actually, where was the blunder? Because the evaluation switched a lot. Did Knight takes F4 blunder in this position? Or did Knight E2 actually? What should he play? It's already pretty bad this. So yeah, Bishop B7, Knight 6, Knight 2, Bishop takes, Rook F8. Let's retreat the Bishop calmly. Because D6 check isn't so hot. He takes this, and after Queen takes, King takes, takes. It's all about equal. That is maintaining the tension. And now if he steps out of the discovery with King C8 or something, I play E6 anyway. If the Knight moves, I have the move Knight into D4. With the crushing threat of Knight takes C6, which can't be stopped. But he put a blunder with Rook F5 because I think he missed after E6 check that I'm also removing defense of his queen, so he's losing at least a piece. So he resigned in this position. And it was a very interesting game actually. Where I played a very interesting opening. He went wrong in the opening, but then he defended very good and I had to find some nice moves to keep advantage. And we won the match 5-0, 2.5 in the end. So a very good start to Yorkshire League chess. I will return shortly with more of my recent games, and I hope you enjoyed this game and my return, and please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.